everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Team Lead Talks podcast. I'm your host out of Alexandria, Virginia, Andrew Becker. On today's episode, we have my friend Daniel Gandee. Daniel is the team leader, co-founder, principal broker of the Operative Group. You guys are the number 6 real estate team in the entire state of Oregon with over 50 million in volume sold in 2025 alone. Welcome to the show, Daniel. Excited to have you on, man.
Thanks, Andrew. Appreciate the invite.
Yeah, man. I've been looking forward to this one. Looking forward to doing that probate stuff that we were just kind of chatting about earlier as well. So we're going to be in each other's lives, at least for the next 10 weeks, right? But super impressed with what we talked about in our connection call that we had prior to this episode. I got to learn a lot more about what you do at the Operative Group, Daniel, but let's start out really slow here. So for those listening right now on live and those listening on YouTube when this gets published a little bit later on, who's Daniel Gandee? Give us kind of like the high level.
Yeah. Cliff Notes version is me and my wife have 2 boys. We live in Eugene, Oregon. We've had a real estate team here. This is year 7 as a broker, a principal broker here in the state. I started the team about 3 years ago. We're up to 22 agents, and we span all the way out to the Pacific Ocean to Florence, Coos Bay, Bandon, all the way up to Newport, and then from Salem all the way down to Roseburg, which is like the I-5 corridor, which is basically our main thoroughfare, our main highway through the state, kind of dissects the whole Cascade Range and the valley. But yeah, my background's in IDX websites, marketing agency, ad agency work for real estate agents. I did that for 7 years, and we helped a ton of teams build out funnels, website, YouTube presence, ads, PPC. And then before that was in design, build, construction for 5 to 6 years. So I've been in the home industry, for almost 2 decades now.
Yeah. Sounds like you got a little bit of experience, maybe just a little.
Yes.
Yeah.
And now our team is kind of designated off of we've built the team on a kind of a squad model, which is basically we've created divisions within our team, similar to like other big brokerages have done, but we have an investment division, probate division, reload division, upsizing, rural properties, and we're just heavy marketers. That's what I try to tell everybody. Our team is built off of marketing. Like, we're a marketing first business.
Yeah.
Sales second.
Yeah. Having conversations with a lot of individuals, successful individuals like yourself, Daniel, it is kind of at the end of the day, obviously we're in business to be in business, but it's a marketing and numbers operation first and foremost. And we got to talk before, very analytical perspective. I like being analytical and data driven. But at the end of all of this, like when you're drumming up the business, how important are the numbers and are the results of all of your efforts?
It's super important. I'm a big spreadsheet person. I'm a big sales conversion nerd. So I really like to look at what objections are we getting on a daily basis? What do we need to overcome? How many dials are we making? How many appointments set? How many appointments met? I know every team in the industry is doing some level of that.
Right.
But we're always trying to figure out where the gap is between the consumer and the value. And I think that is, from a marketing perspective, that positioning and that marketing strategy for each and every type of client niche you're trying to adapt into is so important, but they all have different conversion metrics.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's really tricky. Like, you may call 100 absentee out-of-state rental property owners, and you may talk to 20 or 30 of them, but your appointment rate is way low, versus you get a PPC lead that comes in, and every 50 you're booking an appointment or showing a house. So we're really always trying to look at each and every one of those lead sources and what is really truly realistic after testing usually in a 90-day quarter window.
Yeah.
And then what do we need to do to pivot and change? And I think that's where most teams, most individual agents mess up. They do the same thing every day, and then they may change slightly scripts, but you really have to be a diehard marketer, a diehard salesperson when it comes to really looking at the numbers.
Dude, I love that. So once upon a time on our team, Daniel, we had 50, 75, 100 lead sources. And then once we started dialing in our data, and we did it by, I don't know how you do it, but I'd love to learn after this comment. But like we obviously track like PPC, website, Zillow, whatever the actual individual source was. But then we started tracking by category too. So like direct mail entailed postcard 1, postcard 2, letter A, letter B, that kind of thing. So it's super interesting to see the 80-20 Pareto principle of what's actually returning revenue to the team and at what averages, what totals, gross, net, etc. And then once we started doing that, we're like, why are we going like an inch deep and a mile wide with all this? Like, it's driving us nuts, like paying for this and doing that and all this stuff. So we got super dialed in. I'm interested to learn, number one, you talked about being able to do that yourself. So I'd love to learn like tactically how you and your team are doing it. You mentioned spreadsheets, but I'd love to hear the process behind that. And then let's take a look at what we did was we had like company level, we had individual level for both lead sources and people. I'm interested to hear like how you look at that through your lens as well as one of the top teams in your state.
Yeah. It begins with first figuring out who the right agent is for what lead sources. So we created not only divisions, but we created lead generation designation. So who's going to get those leads? And those are typically based upon experience and or skills set of sales. So let's just say, for example, probate division. I took Daniela, who was my listing manager and still is my listing manager, and another agent who really understands investment properties, but they had a background in legal contracts or working in the judicial system in some capacity, whether it was from the investment side. Daniela actually, I believe, was working as the assistant to a prosecutor. So she had just
She knew her
familiarity of
way around is what you're
yeah.
saying.
So you first is connecting lead source to who the right people are to own that. I
Yeah.
think that's
Can I
where a
pause
lot
you
of people mess.
there, Daniel? One thing
Yeah.
I love this so far. Like one thing that I like is you mentioned for I think on the probate side 1 or 2 people. So you said you had 22 people on your team. Obviously, they aren't all agents, or maybe they are. I
They
don't.
are.
Okay, cool. So
Yeah.
you're not giving probates to everybody. You're saying who's the really good top 1 or 2 all-star, rock star, A+ student or team members that deserve to have this, and then they just get really freaking good at probate.
Yes.
And you use
So
every lead source that you have.
every lead source outside of even Zillow, like Zillow is not given to every, like I would say 60 to 70% of our team is on Zillow.
Okay.
But first is designation on who's going to own the lead source. The second thing is then we reverse engineer it. My transaction coordinator, as soon as a deal goes into contract, we don't wait until we used to wait until it closed to figure out the lead source. We actually ask that question first. The very first question we ask any agent that opens escrow is what's the lead source? Because we want to know 30 days sooner, and just in case we see a couple of them popping in and there's a new lead source or a beta test that some product is doing, and we can be able to double down, triple down quicker.
Right.
So we're looking at pre-escrow what the lead source is, and then we're tying that back into a report that every month comes back out and lets us know how much SOI, how much Zillow, how much of this lead source. And then what we try to do is say, okay, in this quarter, where are our top 5 that we really want to make sure that we're not going to disrupt, and we may even increase. And then we're typically running like 15 to 20 lead sources at our size, but the bottom 10, the 10 to 20, which are the bottom 10, which are usually your like onesie twosie deals every couple months.
Right.
Then that's what I look at my credit card, or I'll look at my billing, and then I'll just divide 12
Yeah.
months of this equals how much team split did we get back in revenue. And there's only been two that I've let go past 1 year at a loss,
Okay.
just because I believed in the company, or they were like still refining their tech, or distressed property leads. Because distressed properties or leads are a little bit different. We may strike out on 10 in a row, which is about, if you average $200 to $300 a lead, you might be 3K in the hole. But it like takes 1 or 2 of those that will turn into a listing, and then the return on investment over that entire year of a loss is made back. And we just did that with one of our PPC sources. I was just about to cancel it. I literally was going to tell them to refund what was back left in my account, and
Yeah.
then it was literally like listing, pending, boom.
Nice. Dude, you just gave me a little bit of PTSD, good or bad, I'm not sure, but I remember doing that too, and then being like, we're cutting this person or this lead source, and then like an 80 banger will come through, and we're like, we're keeping it. Yeah, oh my God. And it always kind of like, and then we started saying it more, putting that into the universe, and then we keep getting more. But yeah, man, I remember tracking at that level. I'm curious, like, you're a big team in the state of Oregon. You have a lot of moving parts. 10, 20 different lead sources. Like, how are you organizing this data and not losing control or track of it to make sure that you're making educated, data driven decisions that are accurate?
Yeah, we have a Monday and a Friday meeting, me and my business partner. He handles the operations. So we're always typically digging in and doing so basically three things. Do a lead audit every single day or every other day, making sure that you're looking at what sources are coming in and how fast the response time is. And then we're making sure that we have an ISA, this is number two, ISA playing cleanup
Can
always.
you define ISA for those that might not know what that means, Daniel?
Yep, that's an inside sales associate. We've done four different models there. We've outsourced it. We've in-housed it. We've hired a third party company completely, and I'm not talking about outsourced, like not even offshore, just basically. And then we've actually had our agents do it. And what we're realizing is that we always have to have a batter and cleanup. Like they have to be batting cleanup behind them, because the more when you start to do over 100 transactions, um, when you I think the golden number here is 20 escrows. As soon as you get to 20 to 30 to 40 escrows, you have to your agents get busy and they get stuck in the deal. So you always have the ISA coming back behind them. So that ISA's job is to make sure that if it's not a 5 minute or less response time, like it's an immediate as soon as identified.
Yeah.
So we look at what lead sources are coming in on a daily basis. And then me and my business partner are meeting 2 times a week to make sure we look at every lead that came in this week and what's missing. The what's missing is the biggest question, because I think that lead audit is, you may go into your CRM and say, hey, so and so is not following up with these leads. But what we're trying to look at is what lead source didn't come in this week.
Okay.
That's really important to ROI, because a lot of these I was in the techs there. The lead generation business in the real estate industry is very, if you set it and forget it, they'll keep charging your credit card. And then you can't come back to them to essentially be like, hey, lead volume's way low.
Right.
And that one conversation I've had to have, like, I've probably had it over 40 times.
Yeah. You and me both. Oh, tactically, though, Daniel, how are you getting leads from wherever they come in from into your CRM and then into the data analytics part? Is that all interconnected, or how does that actually work in real life?
Yeah, in real life, it comes into Follow Up Boss, all tagged by source and also tagged by several different identifiers. We have built a very sophisticated pawn system. So if you're familiar with pawns, they're just basically smart lists within Follow Up Boss, and those lead sources are following into specific agents. Actually, we run 3 pawns that are only go to one agent. So our top 3 real estate agents by sales volume get their own pond.
Wow.
And then the entire team is in a general money time pond, which we still have to struggle to make sure we get 100% coverage.
Mhm.
And then we do have smart lists and Zillow stage lists that are created from that. But to answer your question, when the deal moves to pending or moves to closed, we're that information is being manually entered. We were Zapiering it for the longest time, but now I'm having my transaction team actually manually enter each and every one of those past closed deals, and then we have like a closeout process. Did we get a review? Did we make sure that we updated the CRM to closed?
Yeah.
So we can track that. And also that Slack message is going back out to those agents to make sure that we're double verifying the lead source, because we've had some mistakes in terms of people telling us it's one thing, it's a Zillow lead, but actually it was a referral from a Zillow lead. So it's actually a referral.
Interesting. Yeah, cool. And
So
what are you using for your data analytics display? Like, how are you, and I think you mentioned your partner do this once a week. Where are you looking and reading and seeing, like, Andrew's really good at probate and here's how much he's brought in? Like, where is that actually happening?
those are actually in old school Google Sheets. We're not on Sisu. We're not on any like AI platform other than one we're working on right now. We're very, very spreadsheet oriented. We do use Zapier a lot for connectivity to those spreadsheets and triggers. What I've realized is so I used to run a real estate team in California that's super successful. And what I realize is that, and team leaders across America are hate me for saying this, but this is all I care about. If you can get to 8,000 points in Follow Up Boss every single month,
Hmm.
and you can get 2 pending deals, or you're always pending on 2 transactions. That's the only thing I care about as a team leader. Because if I have 20 agents and they're all doing 24 deals, we're doing a lot of business. That's over 500 deals. You'd be number one in the state. When I looked at companies like Sisu, shout out to Spring and her husband, those are good companies. But the problem is like all that data only creates more work. When we've boiled it down to the basic problem in real estate, it's like that data is super important if you're doing 500 to 1,000 transactions. To a team that's like throttling under 250 deals, agent productivity is the only thing that matters.
Yeah. Dude, I love how you nonchalantly said at 250 deals. That's like top one in all, like that was nothing. So kudos to you for getting your operation that high. Let's talk about a couple more things. I know we're kind of coming near the end here. As a data analytics person, what are the top X number? I don't know how many, like what are the key KPIs that you look at or want to look at here?
Yeah. So, how many dial attempts to an appointment set is super important to me because I came from different types of sales, construction sales, where like you may call somebody 3 times and now you're at their house. Well, with real estate, we're noticing, between 6 and 12 touches is typically where you're going to get a low value internet lead to at least talk to you. So we're looking at call attempts to appointment met or a talk to. 2-minute conversations is also our biggest KPI in terms of how many of those are happening on a daily basis. There's a lot of teams out there that want 20 or no less. We've realized that the middle 7 to 10 2-minute conversations a day with transactions pending keeps an agent not burning out on the phone. And then when it looks at listing appointments to listings taken, that is one metric that I always look at. We have a really high conversion rate on listings. I think we've only had like so far this year, I think 6 not taken. So we're always looking at why they weren't taking, and 2 of those were mine. Who'd they hire? Why'd they hire? And always asking the question. The feedback loop is the most important. Like if the KPI we're tracking is you went on this listing appointment and then you didn't get it, is it because they decided not to sell? Or did you ask the question when they hired somebody else why they went with the other agent? And that's all we care about.
Yeah, to get better for the next time. Can I clarify something? Did you just say that in 2026, out of all the appointments that you've set and gone on, you've only not signed and made a client of 6 of them?
Yes, I think that we're at 6 right now. No, like we listing appointments to listing signed. We've not received 6,
So
which is
your
2 a
conversion
month.
rate is like 98%. Like, what's the volume behind that number? Your conversion rate, like, was it 100%?
So my conversion rate usually is 90, like 94 to 95%. Mine. I
Wow.
would say my team is probably closer to 80, 85%.
80 or 85% company-wide conversion rate from,
Yeah, and
wow.
yeah.
We
And
need to have you back on a separate podcast just to talk about what the heck you guys are doing to set up that appointment and convert that appointment. I've never heard numbers like that. So
yeah,
yeah,
this
I'm
is
gonna have
this
you
is
back on.
crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
this is crazy. In a given week with 20 agents, not all 20 agents are listing properties. I'd say 10 of them are. Okay.
okay.
I say in a given week, I co-list everything on our team. On a given week, I sign at least 2 listing paperwork packets a day.
Wow, awesome, dude.
So we're constantly hovering between 25 and 40 listings
Wow.
at a time. Our conversion rate is super high on our top 10 out of 20 agents, the top 5 rarely lose an appointment.
Damn, that's insane.
Yeah, it's just
What
train.
are you projecting to do this year then? Like 1,000 deals? Like
No,
what does
no.
that turn
Well,
out to be?
yeah, we're trying to hit. We did 144 sides last year,
Okay.
and we're trying to hit 200 this year.
Okay.
At 200 in our market is, I mean, you're in the top 5 again, but depending on team size and team structure, if you're looking at like real trends, but at 200 to 250 deals, you're doing as much as a brokerage
Yeah.
with 80 agents,
Yeah.
right? Or 100 agents in town. So we're trying to keep our closed transaction completion goal is at least 15 deals a month. 20 deals would be ideal. So sometimes you're going to see the seasonality. This year was really interesting. February was really low. January was crushing. This month alone, we probably do 22, 23 closings.
Yeah. Very cool.
But it's been incremental growth. I give big shout outs to anybody. Like I go to these conferences and people are like, we went from 200 deals to 600, but you got to look at what market they're in. And I think we've gone, our 5 year trajectory has been like 65 deals, 95 deals, 110 deals, 144 deals. We're just making those steps incrementally. So we don't have to, we've bootstrapped this entire thing. I have spent so much of my own commission dollar and not paying myself at certain times just to double down.
Yeah.
And I
Awesome.
think that's a team leader owner sacrifice, that if you really want to have incremental growth that is steady, you just got to be able to make the sacrifice.
Yep. Amen, man. I've been there before myself. Daniel, this has been fantastic, dude. One last question before we part ways here. You've shared so much already, but is there anything addition for those listening right now that you can share, whether it's like a resource, a checklist, or a book? If it can be a book, that'd be cool. I'm trying to fill this top shelf behind me. Someone can do and go execute on that can better their life, their community, or their business.
Yeah, I think I don't know if you've ever read Sell Like Crazy by Sabri Subri.
I have not.
It's a
If I haven't heard of a book, I'm paying attention, but I'm ordering it from Amazon right now. So sell like
yes.
crazy.
Yeah, Sell Like Crazy is a great book. This is kind of your Branson, Hormozy type of book, but I wanted to explain one thing that real estate agents don't do, and I think this is a good leave behind for everybody. My degree is in advertising and marketing, and I've worked with a million different types of real estate agents that are experts in all different types of real estate, luxury, whatever. What I really like about Sell Like Crazy is it's built on one concept, which is your high value content offer, or your HVCO.
Hmm.
Most real estate agents, you see the same old type of social media. Like, if you're looking to buy or sell or invest, hit me up. Or I have 25-star reviews. Everything gets muddled in this muted spectrum to the consumer of like, it's just another real estate agent. But nobody really sacrifices persona or image or their brand, because they all want to look professional and they all want to look like they're all doing something that keeps them in alignment to the market. What Sell Like Crazy is built on is that's the opposite of what you should be doing. You should be standing out, you should be the loudest, you should be, people would be utterly stupid not to hire you because of your value proposition in the market.
Okay. Very cool.
And I think the high value content offer is built on never asking, building a business that you never have to ask for the sale. People will literally come to you and consistently refer you because your value proposition and the way you help people is never about getting the commission check.
Very cool. Is that how you have foreshadowing to our second episode that you're going to come on, right? You agreed to
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Is that the premise or the foundation of how you converted that insane level, both yourself and your team, by the sell like crazy approach?
Yes, it totally is. Like I have provided way more value. The reason that our listing appointment to conversion rate is so high is that by the time that they want to make a decision, if it's not a friend or a referral or somebody they go to church with, or it's their brother or sister, like I've literally had people tell me like, "Hey, we're not going to go with you because I hired a veteran and I'm a veteran." Okay, I totally get it. I'm like, "Cool. Hook
Yeah,
up your brother, whatever it is."
yeah.
But they literally would tell you, I'm like, what was wrong? And they said nothing was wrong. Actually, you delivered so much more information than the other person. It's just a personal decision
Yeah.
preference. We always just want to make sure that we're giving everybody a insider's perspective marketing stack,
Okay.
which means not what everybody else is doing. So when I show up to a listing appointment, I have provided them 5 or 6 key pieces of information that are so detailed and so thought out and methodical in terms of the system. You know how everybody was using like, here's our 116 step listing appointment, or this is what we,
Out book, yeah. When they do like
or
things out of the 2,800 things they list.
yeah, or here's our 3 commission menu,
Yeah.
right? Like no hard feelings, no hate on anybody who coached to that. There's a lot of people that have been super successful. What we realize is we just show up and say, hey, let me show you why pricing drives all decisions. And we are really nerds about pricing.
Awesome. Dude, one last quick question because there's two. There's Sell Like Crazy by Sabri Subi and then Sell Like Crazy by Phil Kreider. Which one is it?
The first one.
The first one? All right, cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna get it. Thanks to the good people of Amazon tomorrow. It's coming overnight. So Daniel, been amazing, man. I'm serious about having you back on, and I'm gonna read Sell Like Crazy before that.
Please do.
Some more to talk to. But Daniel, someone listening right now is in need of an amazing real estate team operator in the state of Oregon. How does one connect with you? How do they get in touch with you?
Yeah. If you're in the local market, Eugene, Springfield, eugenerealestate.com. Super easy to remember. If you're anywhere in Oregon and you want to be connected to me or somebody on my team, you can follow us on Instagram, Oregon Real Estate Expert. We have over 20,000 followers there. If you need to hit me up old school, text 458-209-0163. I'm here to take any referrals. I'm here to help anybody. My personal business is built about 80% investment transactions. So if you're an investor, short-term rental operator, fix and flipper, buy and hold, 1031 exchanges, that's me. My team handles pretty much everything else. So we're here to be a resource. And Andrew, thank you. This has been super fun.
Yeah, man. And we will also include your contact information in the description of this video. If you're listening to this on YouTube, look below and you can touch base with the best Oregon real estate team leader that I've talked to in quite some time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here, dude.
Appreciate it.
All right, bye.
Take care.